Hi everyone. Today I have a fun-filled pack video for you today. We are going to be making some more stockings and let's get started. All right, it's time to prep. So my husband cut these out with a jigsaw for me and I am just sanding them down and making sure that every side is nice and smooth. I am going to take them in and give these a coat of black chalk paint, and this is from Dollar Tree. I always start my base coat with black, and I am actually using some water to thin it down so that I can get good coverage over this entire board. Right, so this is the candle method. And I did this in my last video, and if you missed it, I will link it up above. So we're going to go through it very quickly. I sanded these down. I coated them with black chalk paint from Dollar Tree. I went over them with plaster, and I am just scraping the candle wax off. And in some cases, I heated it up with my hair dryer, and then I am using my finger sander to get the rest. I will link that video down below in my description box and up above in my cards. All right, so today I'm giving you 5 painting techniques and 15 decorating ideas on how to decorate these stockings. Now, I got lots of comments on my last video, and I thought, you know what? Let's go through this and let's do some decorating of these little stockings here. I kept calling them boots in my last video, but they are actual stockings is what I intended them to be. So on this technique, this is going to be the Vaseline technique. And I am using this apple red bright paint that I got from, I don't even know where, maybe Walmart. It is Rust-Oleum, and I am just coating it like that's my base coat because this wood soaks up the paint so much, and I am almost out of my Spanish tile, which is what I like to use, and it is from Lowe's. And so I used the Rust-Oleum as my base coat, and then I went over the top of it with my Spanish tile. And that's what I'm showing you here. And after that is dry, now I'm going to take my Vaseline and I am just going to put it in some spots where I don't want the paint to stick. Now, when this is done, and I let it dry and sit overnight, but you honestly do not have to. It's easier probably if you don't let it sit overnight, but either way is fine. The paint still comes off nice and easy, no scrubbing involved. And honestly, you do not have to put a thick coat of Vaseline. I just put it on with my fingers. You can put it on with a paintbrush, however you want. You just put it where you do not want the paint to stick, where you want it to show some distressing. Now, I just went around the edges. I didn't do in the center of the stockings, even though I probably should have, but I didn't. Okay, and we're going to let that dry a little bit, and we're just going to set it aside and work on our next stocking. Okay, so this stocking, I'm giving another base coat of black paint, and then I'm going to set that aside to dry. And now we're coming back to the little stockings, and we are going to give them a coat of plaster Waverly chalk paint. Now, I just go over this very gently in the spots where there's Vaseline. Now, you can move it around, but just remember, wherever you put the Vaseline, the paint is not going to stick to the bottom layer. So you want to be careful and just kind of dab over the top of where you put the Vaseline. I just kind of pounced my brush a little bit, and you can see there's not real good coverage on there where I did put the Vaseline. But we are going to do 2 coats of this plaster chalk paint. Now, for this stocking, we are going to do a crackle method. And I am just using regular school glue, nothing special. I don't even put it on that thick, and I just use my paintbrush and spread it out. And then I let this dry a little bit, and I do the other stocking. I just want to make sure that I get the glue over the entire surface and along the edges, because you don't want thick cracks in the center and no cracks around the edging. So if you want thick cracks, then you put it on thicker. If you want thin cracks, you put it on thinner. I just make sure that I do a nice even coat around the whole thing. And there's barely any glue on there, really. You could really goop it up if you wanted to, but I just wanted a nice even crackling. And before I could even get this paint on, it started to crackle. See, I'm showing you there. It's already starting to crackle. Nice. Very nice. And we're going to coat the other one and see, most of it has dried already, but there are some spots that have not dried, and that's okay. It's still going to crackle. Okay, now I had a lot of questions in my comments about the molds that I used for the glue, well, the glue little molds, I guess. I don't know what you call them, but anyway. So this is the actual mold that I used, and it is linked down below in my description box in my Amazon store. It was about 12 or 13 bucks. I'm not really sure, but it was not that expensive. I just fill it with hot glue. Now, I do have some tips for you. If you get it too full, you're going to have to trim around the edges and you will not get a good clean design. But if you fill it a little bit, just make sure that you go in order of the design. I always like to get into the little creases and crevices really, really well, and then I'll go back and fill it in. Now, if you don't get it even and there's like lumps and bumps, that's okay. Just use your heat gun to heat it up again, heat the glue up again, and it will settle down into the cracks and crevices and it will give you a nice even coat. But just make sure that you don't overfill it and go in order of the design. Like, you want to make sure you start at one end and go to the other end, like especially for those long strip pieces. Well, for any design, really, you don't want to, like on this clock, you don't want to go around in a circle. You want to make sure that the whole bottom is filled and then you just fill in on top because you want the detail and that's how you get the detail. So now you see I filled the clock just a little bit too full in some of the little creases and crevices. So I'm just cleaning it up with my X-Acto knife. And I got that one too full too. So just learn from my mistakes. Don't fill it up too much and use your heat gun when necessary. All right, guys, today is a collaboration with my good friend, Crafty Kathy. And if you have not seen her channel and watched her and Sabby sing her little song, you are really missing out. So go over and visit Kathy's channel. I will have her channel linked down below in my description box as well as in my comment pinned at the top. Okay, now we're going to get on with the second side of these little stockings. And I just painted them a base coat of black. And I'm going over them with white. I'm sorry, I'm going over them with plaster in Waverly chalk paint. And all I'm going to do to this side is distress it. I do give it 2 good coats. Okay, now for this big stocking. Look at that beautiful chippiness. Oh my goodness. And now on this side, I am just going over it with plaster chalk paint, and I actually end up doing something different. So let's get on with the Vaseline method. Okay, so you can actually rub this off with your fingers. You can use a little scraper tool. You can use a sanding block. You can use a piece of sandpaper. You can use brown paper bag. I use my finger sander. Now, just remember that the Vaseline is going to be gumming up your sanding paper. So you are going to want to either change it out or just use one piece for all of them. And I just used one piece for all of them. And then I wet distress it later on to clean up the edges. I absolutely love how these distress, and they come out so good. So now you're going to have to let me know at the end of the video which one of these techniques is your favorite and which stocking is your favorite. Now, I couldn't pick a favorite. I liked several of them. I think I picked my top 4 at the end, and that's the best I could do. So now I'm just wet distressing them and cleaning them up with paper towel because you don't want that white to be pink. You want that white to be white. And look how good they look. I love the Vaseline method. It is so easy. And now I just stack these together and I drill a hole so that I can add hangers to them. I love that. I love that crackle method. Now on these bigger stockings, I am going to be adding wood glue. I could have used school glue. I could have used a glue stick or any kind of glue, really, tacky glue. I just used this wood glue because that's what I had right there, and it works perfectly fine. All I'm doing is sticking this down to this textured wallpaper. And I love the texture that it gives to these stockings. This is like an orange peel wallpaper. And after I get them stuck down to the wallpaper, I just clean up around the edges with my fingers and I use my X-Acto knife to cut them out. And that works perfectly fine. Now, you can go around the edges with your sanding block, but honestly, I didn't need to. So I didn't have to do that. I used my brayer to press down the wallpaper to take out any wrinkling or little bubbles that might be on the stocking. My goodness, my babies are going crazy. Okay, now it's time to paint these. I am going to be ombreing these with my plaster and my moss. I love this green color and I'm going to use it and I wanted to ombre it. So that's what we're doing here. We're ombreing this stocking and I use a little bit of black to darken up the green on the toe and the foot area. And then I just go back in and blend, blend, blend until I am satisfied with how they look. And you can customize this to your decor however you want to with whatever colors you want to use. You could do red and green, you could do red and white, black and pink. I just love the moss color and I feel like that's pretty neutral for any decor setting. Now on these little ones, I am just gluing down the glue molds that I made and these turn out so elegant. I love these. Now these are super high end. I feel like between these and the wallpaper stockings, oh my goodness, those are the ones you're going to see in a boutique. Now this paint I got for $2 at Ace Hardware. It was an oops paint, and I love it. It's like a creamy white. It reminds me of the plaster, actually. It's pretty darn close to the plaster color. And so I glue these down, and then I just give it another coat of this plaster color. I call it creamy chiffon in my last video, cream chiffon or chiffon cream or whatever. And now I'm just going to go over it with some antiquing wax. And oh my goodness, it brings these stockings to life. On the middle one, I got it way too dark, but when I wiped it back, oh my goodness, it was gorgeous. It was perfect. So that was a awesome, total happy accident. The one with the clock face on it, oh my gosh, is gorgeous. It's my favorite. I love all three, but I mean, it's hard to choose because the coloring in the middle one and oh my gosh, I don't know. Let me know what you think about these. I'm real curious. But you can use those candy molds. That is actually a cake decorating mold. Um, and I just use hot glue and it works perfect. Perfect. Totally awesome. Okay, so now on one of these small stockings, I am just tying a little key. You know how they have a key for Santa? Well, that's what I thought of, key for Santa. Now, you could put some words on there, and I did not use my Cricut or vinyl cutter on any of these projects. So if you don't have a vinyl cutter, you can still make high-end Christmas decor for very little money. This is just paint and ribbon, guys. Paint and ribbon and hot glue. All right, guys. If you are returning, I want to thank you so much. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing and hitting that thumbs up button. It really helps out my channel to grow here on YouTube. And I'd like to welcome you to the Rusted Willow family. My name is Tammy, and on this channel, we do DIYs, thrift flips, furniture flips, and hauls, and anything else under the sun that comes up. So if you're not following me over on Instagram, or Pinterest or TikTok, you might want to do that because that's where you see some of the behind the scenes happenings around here. Let's get back into these DIYs. So now I am just using my little stamps that I got. I ripped some fabric, some drop cloth fabric, and I am just stamping words onto this drop cloth fabric. So I have the word stockings, I have the word believe, and you only get 2 E's, so I had to take it apart and move the E and put it on the back, but that's not a problem. And then I use the word joy. If you guys watch Mother Time, she makes these little tags, and that's where I got the ideas. So I will link her channel down below so you can also go over and watch Mother Time. I love her channel as well. And then I just add them to my little stockings. That ribbon I got at Hobby Lobby, and I'm sure it was half off. And on this one, I am just adding a butterfly. And if you've been watching my channel at all, you know I use butterflies in my decor here and there. It just reminds us of our mother and, you know, those butterfly kisses from heaven. So I like to incorporate butterflies when I can. All right, guys, this is one of my favorite stockings. Oh my goodness. Just the black, sleek ribbon, silk ribbon. It does not have wire in it, and I made it long. It just hangs there. I love it. And I added a jewel from totallydazzled.com. Now, I bought those jewels. This is not sponsored by them or anyone else. So I hope you really enjoy this video. Now, I am using these words from Dollar Tree. This is the believe word. It comes in a 3-pack. I believe it is believe. I believe it is believe. Yes, this word is believe. But it also comes with joy and peace. This is also words from Dollar Tree. I think it comes in a 2-pack, and it is also the word believe. And I just painted that black with my black furniture marker. I didn't even use paint. And now this little peace sign came from Walmart in a pack of 6 little hanging tags. And I just love it. And I added a big button and I topped it off with a smaller button. And now I'm just adding a little jute bow on there. Super cute. And this was painted, that stocking was painted with the candle wax method. Now, guys, don't forget to go over and visit my friend Kathy over at Crafty Kathy. I will link her video and her channel down below in my playlist. And I want to thank you guys so much for stopping by. I read every single one of your comments. I know I was a little behind, but I have caught up and I plan to stay caught up because it's Christmas time and there's going to be lots going on. All right, guys, here is the final reveal. Now, this is what most of my stockings looked like last time and how they started out. One side was just white and one side was chippy with the candle wax method. Now, these are how I decorated most of them. I gave you 15 different ideas on how to decorate your stockings, all without having a Cricut. Now, if you wanted different words, you could also get stickers, you could get rub-on transfers, you could even get these little stamps, which I purchased at Michael's, and I will link the link to them. I will link them down below in my description box. They hook together, they're really easy to use, and I really liked them, actually. I love these stockings. Let me know which one or which ones are your favorite. They turned out so beautiful. Tell me if you know which ones I'm keeping. You'll probably figure it out real soon, real soon. All right, guys, I want to thank you so much for stopping by. And I hope you stick around for the next few weeks. We got some more Christmas coming. We have Hello Winter in December. And I have some really neat ideas coming up in the near future. And we're almost to 15,000 subscribers. So I know that still 70% of you that watch my channel are not subscribed. So if you wouldn't mind subscribing, that would really help out my channel. Then we can have another giveaway or two. And I plan to have a giveaway once we get to 15,000. And hopefully that will be soon before Christmas. Don't forget to let me know what you think. All right, guys. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good one. Bye.